So what's it like to buy your first cryptocurrency on Kraken? Well, let's say I'm at a food truck I've never tried before. Am I gonna go all in on the loaded taco? No, sir. I'm keeping it simple, starting small. That's trading on Kraken. Pick from over 190 assets and start with the $10 in your pocket. Easy. Go to kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
I've got a lot of grandbabies, like a lot. And when it comes to finding a gift for each of them, it could add up. But this year, while I was making my way through Walmart, I realized I don't have to spend a lot to get the gifts they'll love.
An OPI mini mani set! I'm gonna do so much nail art.
Oh, yeah! A Lego set! Might own a Walla water bottle!
Ooh, and that's just half of them.
Shop great gifts they're sure to love for $25 and under at Walmart.
Doctors like you have demanding schedules. Growing your portfolio shouldn't be another burden. And the last thing you want when you take off the scrubs is a call from a tenant about an overflowing toilet. Equitable Tipple brings you streamlined access to vetted real estate investments that work for you, even when you're off the clock. Only 5% make the cut, and once you invest, a team of professionals goes to work to maximize your returns. With a minimum investment of just $5,000, diversify outside the stock market with cash flowing real estate like multifamily, industrial self-storage, and more. Welcome to modern real estate investing. Visit equitabletipple.com to learn more. That's equitabletipple.com.
We work hard as physicians to take care of the health and well-being of our patients. But when it comes to our money, do we have the same condition of care? Probably not. Let's change that together. Welcome to the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast, where we'll fight and advocate for your financial literacy. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. Thanks for being here. Let's jump into the show. Welcome to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. We have Brian Kelly, and he's calling in from Los Angeles, and he is the automation master. So he's an author, he's a speaker, and he's the creator host of the MindBodyBusiness Show. We're going to all talk about 3 pillars of entrepreneurship, how to saturate the market, and 3 keys to getting more business. So Brian, welcome.
Thank you, Christopher. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. It's coming towards the end of the year and trying to go out with a bang. Tell us more about yourself, how you got started, and we'll go from there.
Oh, goodness sakes. That will take forever. No, we'll do the short version. Grew up in a very lower middle income class family. Didn't know it until I became as I was a young guy, I didn't realize we didn't have that much money because I enjoyed my childhood thoroughly, played sports and had no idea anything was wrong. Nothing was wrong. It's just the one day I came to my parents and I asked them for a ticket to go to see a movie, which was this blockbuster movie that everyone was buzzing about. There was no social media back then. It was all word of mouth. And it was Star Wars. And I'll never forget, my dad looked down at me and said, "I'm sorry, son, we can't afford to give you that ticket." And I'm like, that's when it hit me. I'm like, holy smokes, we don't have money. I made it. That was the beginning of my drive to say, my parents loved us. They did everything for us. I have nothing negative to say about them. I just knew that I didn't want to be in that situation when it was my turn to be the dad looking at their child and saying, I can't afford a couple dollars for you. That's what it was back then. And so been driven ever since. And that led me through lots of different journeys to where I am now. And the journey never ends. It continues to change course. And that's what I love about it. It's called life, and it's fun and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story. We come up with similar backgrounds, upbringing, and we're going to talk about the 3 pillars of the successful entrepreneur. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I talk about that on my live show, the MindBodyBusiness Show, and that it's part of the title of the show, The Answer. And that is, I actually studied for about a decade only successful people, trying to figure out what it is that made them more successful than someone like me. We're all human. We put our pants on one leg at a time, at least most of us do, unless someone's figured out how to do that. So what I found over this course of time, and I'm talking about mentors of mine that I literally paid for, others that I worked with, people that taught me how to speak effectively on stage, authors, people that aren't even with us anymore, the authors of books, I would learn from them. And what I found with those three pillars were that to a person, each and every individual had these three things in common, and that was mind being mindset. They had a very powerful, positive, and most importantly, flexible mindset. And then body was literally they took care of themselves physically and nutritionally. That one was unbelievable. It was really cool to see that. And then business is multifaceted. Basically, these individuals had mastered the necessary skill sets that are required to build, maintain, and grow a business, like sales, marketing, team building, leadership. It goes on and on. And I always say the good news is you don't have to master all of them. Look, mastering one is like being an expert. How long does that take? What's the average? 10,000 hours? I don't know. The number changes whoever you talk to. I don't want to spend that amount of time mastering each and every skill set. I don't know about you. But if you just master one of them, then you can leverage the others. And that one is the skill set of leadership. And once you've mastered that, even as you're doing it, you don't have to fully master it completely to start bringing in other individuals who have mastered the other skill sets that you either have yet to or may never because of the time it takes to do it. So that's the three pillars of success in a nutshell.
And it's really great to get this conversation starting on that. When it comes to maintaining a positive, productive, and successful mindset, what do you do to sustain this?
Oh man, yeah. It's so a lot of people that are not entrepreneurs yet don't understand, and there's nothing wrong with it, what we go through every day, the hurdles, the setbacks, the things, the challenges. That's what drives us. We're weird that way, that we enjoy the challenges, and that's what we do for a living. We solve problems. And knowing that's always facing us, it's very important to have a very positive mindset and to always strive to keep driving forward. I didn't always have a positive mindset. I learned it. I trained myself. I learned NLP, became certified. I've trained in other areas and listened to other people in their areas. In my interviews that I do just like you with highly successful entrepreneurs, I learn a lot of things about starting a routine every morning. So I get up and I pray and I thank God for the fact that I have another day to go out and impact people. And then I've just started reading a new book that the title is What If It All Goes Right? And I thought, wow, that's powerful. And if you want to start on something that's simple and just start reframing how you think about your day, powerful. Because we're always thinking we're human. No one's going to answer my email. They're not going to pick up. They're going to buy my product. It's been 3 months since I made a sale. Why would they do it now? We have these negative thoughts. What if it all goes right? And I started implementing that very simple technique, and I saw changes immediately. It's amazing what this thing up here between our ears can do for us. So it's important to get it right, to work on your mindset if you haven't already. I'm talking to the audience, and make that one of your priorities, because without a proper mindset, it doesn't matter how good you are, how skilled you are at selling or at doing the minutia, at being an auditor of your own company, at building websites, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you don't have the mindset set correctly. I know this from experience. I'm 58 years old. I've been through it. I've tried it without the mindset. It didn't work. It was difficult. And I learned at a late age, around 47, the importance of it, concentrated on it, and my life has changed for forever since then in a great way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to switch gears a little bit because you talk about saturating the market with your message and 3 keys to getting more business. How do you expand upon that?
Yeah, it's all about getting massive exposure. I like to compare 2 things. So I do a live video show once a week on average, and I compare that to authoring a book. Both are very good to do. You should all author a book. I'm still in the process of finishing my first one. The thing with a book, one of the reasons we do it is to gain authority status, correct? And the other thing is it gets us additional exposure because it's on bookshelves, maybe on Amazon and the like. The thing with a book is you write it once and you're done. It never changes. If you go through Amazon, you can get a bestseller status by selling it for less than $1 to 20 of your closest friends really quick. And then you're a bestseller forever, whether you sell another copy or not. The point of this is that the content, number 1, doesn't change in the book ever because it's a book. And number 2, the distribution is nowhere near what you can accomplish with a live video show. And so the content changes every week, just as we're doing right now. This is new content for you, Christopher. And that's good. And then if you do interview style, you're bringing on new talent, new value systems, new ways of figuring out how to get problems solved. And then you can disseminate and distribute that live video show after it's done. Like during the show, we stream live to 11 platforms all at the same time. That's a lot more exposure than you'll ever get with a book right then and there. We could stop there, but I don't, and we don't. We repurpose it. We're on 35 podcast platforms. We edit out the audio. It takes us minutes because we don't go and edit out the ums and the ahs. It's live, and we want them to know it was live. It carries a different dynamic. And then we do video shorts. We have tools that we chop up the 1 hour show into 20 different video short posts that we post to all of our social media platforms. Hundreds of posts go out from one show after the show's over. And then we put call to action links there. So carpet bomb marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. It's about hitting every possible nook and cranny you can with the resources you have. Most of what we do doesn't cost money. It does cost money to have the tools to help make this a more efficient process. So it's not a human with a spreadsheet, but you do what you can with what you got and do all you can with what you got. And then as your business grows, you keep scaling up those efforts and you get more and more exposure. 10, 20, probably 100 times more powerful than writing a book, in my opinion. But you do need, if you do a live show, you do need to stay consistent, do it for at least 3 years. Well, there's a lot behind that as well, but it's very powerful. And it's a lot easier than writing a book, let me tell you that.
Yeah, which sounds like through live streaming, I heard that, and then also newsletters. And what sort of tools can people start using to get started in having their own video show, and what sort of tools they can use to automate things?
Oh my, that goes deep and wide. So let me think. Let's start with, I do a live video or advanced live video masterclass about every month, and it's free. And I don't sell anything on it. It's called peakmasterclass.com. I would recommend folks go there and just register. If you can't make it live, don't worry. We do a replay for 48 hours. If you can't make that, we have an on-demand version. We got you covered. It costs nothing, and nothing is for sale. And I go through all the details of automation, which many people don't realize how key automation is. They're thinking it's a live video show. It's a podcast. What do you need automation for? Just about everything. And because I've done this manually, I did it 10 years ago with a partner. We were doing everything manually, getting the guests, setting up times, agreeing on the questions. There's so much people don't recognize that go on behind the scenes, that if you're able to automate that, now you can just show up and be present, be the host. And another resource for automation is I have a club that I've created. It's 100% free. And there's no monthly fee whatsoever. It's reachyourpeakclub.com. Inside of there is the number one automation resource I use. It's called Peak Connector. If you're in the club, it's $97 a month. If it's out of the club, it's $497 a month. It's a free club, your choice. But it is the best of the best. And I'm a software engineer by trade going back many years. I've been through many CRMs and autoresponders and all those tools. And this one is by far, it's the best. And I log into it first thing every morning. It's my hub. It's everything I do is circled around it. So for people looking to automate, that is a great place to start. And if you have already something like Aweber, ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, anything like that, you can always migrate your data over to this new tool, which many people have done. And it's been a godsend. I could go on forever about automation, brother. So I'm going to leave it there and let you continue on.
What are your favorite streaming platforms that go on and then stream it across all of the social media platforms?
It's StreamYard by far. I've gone through several of those as well. Back when we started live streaming about almost 10 years ago, that's hard. That's unbelievable. That's back when there was Ustream and Livestream. There was no Facebook Live. There was no Periscope was the first, actually, of the major social media platforms. There was, of course, no LinkedIn Live. It was those two. And with that, there was no studio software to do scene switching, to change between, if you have two people up, one person up, and frames and all the wonderful graphics. I found a guy in the Netherlands by himself who wrote the software to do it. And so, yeah, we did it. And I bought a supercomputer back then. It was incredibly powerful, but it needed to be to run the graphics and everything that was going. And we graduated to other tools that companies started building. There's OBS. Many people have used OBS. Another one called XSplit. I used that one predominantly for probably over a year. And it would take my computer to its knees because it needed so much processing. StreamYard does everything on their servers. It's web-based. It's in a browser. And it just took all of that worry and fret out of my mind. Now I can stream, like I said, 11 platforms. I could not do that with XSplit. It would 3 platforms would bring my computer, which in its day was a supercomputer for a PC. It would bring it to its knees. So StreamYard it's simple to use. They're always improving it. I was just on their town hall. They do it every Sunday, and they announced a few things they're enhancing. It's just always been improving. And the one thing that's really impressive about them, I'm a software guy, like I said, is they make sure they test it. They test the heck out of it before they release it. And I've seen so many other software companies that would just, we're just going to release it. And they don't say it out loud, but they're making the consumer base the beta testers. So StreamYard, they don't play those games. They make sure it's working, it's tight, it's solid, and then they release it and let everybody know. So StreamYard's my go-to for live video show hosting. It's got studio grade graphics and everything that you can do with it. It's phenomenal.
Ready to launch a career and future you can be proud of? Welcome to Merrill, where an industry-leading advisor training program will help you get licensed. And with lead gen support from Bank of America's vast customer base, you'll get the referrals you need to establish your own practice. It's time to see your career charge forward with Merrill. Apply now at careers.bankofamerica.com. Copyright 2024 Bank of America Corporation.
Mothers know all about life's tricky transitions. Thankfully, Ollie helps you prioritize wellness through every age, life stage, or magnificent mood change. Need a multitasking multivitamin that keeps up with you? How about an essential prenatal for you and baby? Ollie's got you through it all. Life's tricky. Your wellness routine shouldn't be. Get what you need at ollie.com.
And in terms of the content you do, is it more like a Q&A or is it a webinar or a masterclass or?
Yeah, it's always Q&A with and this is key, Christopher. It's like some people want to do a talking head. What does that mean? It's one person, them, on the show, just talking about, we all have lots to give, and every one of us could do that full time. And there's nothing wrong with it, except for the fact that it's not as engaging. When you have 2 people interacting, so let's say you come on my show, Christopher, I can ask you questions about your business, and then you can answer it. And wait a minute, Christopher didn't have to come on and be a talking head and just talk about his business and barf all over everybody about it. It was now because someone else really asked him about it, and there's a different engagement there. Plus, you as the host are gaining a new forever business relationship or personal relationship. There's so many, in the master classes where I go into a deeper detail on this, so many are looking for likes, loves, downloads, reviews, and all that, the vanity numbers for their shows, how many are watching live. And that's the wrong focus. Doesn't mean you don't think about it, but you don't focus on it. You focus strategically on bringing on guests who later will either become someone that you do business with, but it could be in either direction. I've become a client of quite a few of my guests and vice versa. So it's a phenomenal relationship building resource on top of everything else. And that's why I highly recommend that everyone do interview style shows.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very valuable advice. And I know we're coming towards the end of the show. In your opinion, what do you feel is the major difference between entrepreneurs and those who work for someone else?
Some of it is they just don't know any different. They don't know what they don't know. Others, when led to the promised land, I've actually done this. I grab their arm and say, come with me. I want to show you something that I've just learned about. Because I didn't know. I was an entrepreneur out of the gate. I was corporate America for a couple of decades. And I would pull on them and say, man, I got to show you this other side of the wall. Look how beautiful it is. And they're in the comfort zone. They want to stay where they're at. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Entrepreneurs are risk takers by default. And not everybody is one. And not everybody should be. We were all built differently. And if you have the risk-taking mentality, and I mean with not just taking risk for taking risk's sake, but going out and doing stuff, making decisions that most people would rather not and stay in the comfort zone. Employees, so you get a paycheck and you know when it's coming and you know how much it's going to be. Entrepreneurs, you have no freaking clue unless you know that you've already made sales, but you don't know when that next sale is going to come and the next bump is going to come. It's a lot of different things in it. So entrepreneurs are just a lot more risk-taking and more problem-solving and in it to figure out how to navigate everything by themselves rather than just go work for someone else and have the business take care of all of that so you can have a steady income. And again, nothing wrong with being an employee whatsoever. Been there, done that.
Yeah. And this is all valuable advice for all the audience and listeners out there. Brian's resources will be in the links and show notes. tell us how people can follow you, find you, visit your website, and contact you.
Just come watch the MindBot.com because you can register and receive automated notifications when we go live. We don't sell anything. I'm very careful about not selling on everything I do. In fact, I sell rarely on anything. Show.com. Again, peakmasterclass.com if you're interested in the advanced live video masterclass. And then Facebook, I'm there, Brian Carl Kelly. LinkedIn, the same, Brian Carl Kelly. And if you go to research me, because of all the things I've implemented based on what we just talked about, if you go to research me, you can not find me. I'm everywhere. And I'm not saying that to boast or brag. I'm just saying that the carpet bomb marketing approach does work, and it'll help anyone who's looking to get exposure, so that if Christopher has a pain point if you solve a pain point that someone has, but they don't know you yet, what are they going to do? They're going to go research you. And when they start seeing you everywhere, they're going to go, their resistance goes down, their hesitation goes down. They come back and say, Christopher, let's do business. Where do I sign?
Yeah. Fantastic conversation. Really a lot of nuggets of wisdom. Brian, thanks so much for coming onto this show, and we look forward to hearing about your future success.
Thank you so much.
Ready to diversify outside the stock market? Equity Multiple brings you streamlined real estate investing. Access vetted, cash-flowing opportunities from anywhere. Start today with just $5,000 at equitymultiple.com.
I'm excited that you made it for another episode. You are truly the best. If you've been following the show for a while, you know that my passion is to bring you the education you need to find your path to financial freedom. Please come back week after week for new content, new resources, and great guests. Until then, if you haven't already, please be sure to check out the website, www.drchrislewmdphd.com for more support. I'll see you next week.